Go.
They've been friends going on 20 years and now stepping into one of the most dangerous behaviors of a lifetime. It's having an opinion and openly talking about it on the internet. It's Pinche and The Gringo.
And we're back.
Yeah, it's another Thursday.
Yeah, another Thursday.
Crazy week.
So, yeah, it has been. You know, I've actually kind of been working harder now that I don't work in the office. If that makes sense.
I guess I can see that, because when I was in the other office, I would take the mental break, and so you would think, based on time away from desk, less work was done.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm pretty sure because of the breaks I was taking, the mental focus was stronger in those shorter stints.
Right.
So I think working in the office, I still did pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Are you working harder just by workload, or you yourself working harder? You mean? Maybe I misunderstood.
There just seems to be more work to do.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of true as well. I think that's an accurate statement.
Yeah.
Not only is there, because which doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, for my organization, for what I do, I could see it, but how has your role changed compared to? It's still very similar, right? So we're still both in training.
It's just, yeah.
Yeah, so training's gone up. Yeah, training efforts have gone up just on the fact that so many people are now work from home, that things that would usually be done ILT are now going online and have to go online.
But we digress. Some statements that Dr. Stella Immanuel made. We're also talking about the U.S. Army grooming children through Twitch. Massive bans that we're going to recap on that from, we kind of mentioned it last week.
Yeah.
And we're also talking about Trump convinced that there's going to be mail-in ballot voter fraud. So we're talking about that as well. And homeowner who held firearms while protesting broke into their private property, get a felony charge.
Yeah, that one's kind of the two that I'm looking at. They've got a little more not traction, but a little more into their path since they kind of both started up. We'll hit those as we go.
Sounds good.
See, man. So the hydroxychloroquine, is that how we say this?
Hydroxychloroquine, yes.
Hydroxychloroquine. I don't know why I see that, and I kind of want to say something like porcupine, because I see the Q and all that stuff. So this has been touted. It's a malaria drug, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's been touted as people scream it as a cure, but in reality, it's only been touted as potentially having benefits to aid in recovery from COVID. But everybody screams like it's a magical cure. So what brings it back around, aside from Commander-in-Chief saying it was a cure-all and having some woman who incidentally murdered her husband with some from their fish tank? What brings it back around this time?
So hydroxychloroquine. So what happened was that we're getting really slow upload speeds right now.
All right.
I don't know why. We're dropping frames left and right.
I know Spectrum had a fit yesterday over on my side, so I wonder if I'm pulling you down. Factcheck.org.
Let us know out there how our stream is going, because it seems like it's only like at 1058 kbps.
I'll pull it up on a separate device and just see. But we'll go while we can. Or do you want to pause and play technical?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and go. So so this lady Stella Immanuel says hydroxychloroquine, zinc, and zithromycin are the cure to the coronavirus, that you don't need to wear a mask anymore because there's a cure, that you don't need to worry about dying, that she treated 350 cases, 350 patients, and not a single one of them died. Now, I don't know how true that is or what, but they're touting the drug that Trump says was the greatest thing. Here's the thing about hydroxychloroquine. Hydroxychloroquine is a treatment for malaria. Now, malaria is
It's a mosquito-borne disease.
It's a mosquito-borne disease, but it's a
transmitted.
parasite, it's a parasite, not a virus.
Yeah.
So the medication can treat it completely differently.
We are actually pretty good on the tech side, dude. Everything I just had, it didn't show any frame drops. Seemed fine.
Cool. Maybe it's just on my side.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, so that's the thing. I mean, so malaria is a mosquito-borne infectious disease, affects humans and other animals, causes symptoms that typically include fever, tiredness, vomiting, headache. Severe cases can cause yellow skin, seizures, coma, or death. Symptoms usually begin 10 to 15 days. Afterwards, if not properly treated, people may have reoccurrence of the disease months later. Some have survived the infection. Reinfection usually causes more milder symptoms. And partial resistance disappears over months to years if the person has no continuing exposure to malaria. So you can also build a resistance to it, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. So all I ever see is people screaming, looking up the headlines, right? I saw the viral video person, but I didn't watch the video. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. And it's not that I'll get what I want out of the video by reading the article. So,
right.
But it's all everybody screams is instantly. Nobody listened to what she said. They all just heard her say hydroxychloroquine is a cure. And she's not actually saying that. I don't know the lady's credentials, right? I mean, we all know some folks with PhD at the end of their names, and the more letters they have back there can be some of the dumbest people we've met in our lives. I've seen that in the public sector. But she's saying it's almost like for lack of knowledge of my own to be able to compare it to anything else, it's almost like an AIDS cocktail. When we're talking about reducing the effects of AIDS on those with the afflicted, it's a medicinal cocktail, a variety of different medications doing different things, taken all at similar same time. And that's kind of what she's talking here, that zinc antibiotic and azithromycin, and she's talking about curing it.
Yeah.
So that's the stuff, though.
But doing it in combination, each drug should still have an effect. This has been tested. The effect of this drug means nothing to COVID. Absolutely nothing.
The effects of it by itself.
Of hydroxychloroquine by itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I am not knowledgeable on that stuff. I just knew as soon as he said something the last time, as soon as Trump said something the last time, you would see the animal nature of capital of psychoed people and capitalism doing its thing.
But he loves to be right.
And people hoard and buy. Oh, he'll lie to be right.
Yeah.
And that's the one of the disgusting aspects of it. And it's like, so what are they actually saying? That she's saying that she had how many? She cleared quite 100, right?
She said 350 patients, and they're cured of the coronavirus.
Clip features a Houston area doctor named Stella Immanuel. What was the other thing? Because as soon as, of course, even let's say she's right, what was the first thing the media did? Because immediately after you see this video and her talking about it, what's the first thing we start to see?
Well, they pull it off of Facebook. I know
Yeah, and
that.
Facebook's ability to check facts is pretty much shit anyway. If it doesn't fit their narrative, they'll yank it off. I don't trust Facebook
Mm-hmm.
as far as I can throw them. But I mean, in that same aspect, you're exactly right. They start to bury the information as much as possible, which is really weird because they were just doing fact checking things.
Mm-hmm.
This post contains potential bullshit was what they were putting on most of them.
Right.
This one, they're like, no, we're just yanking it down.
Mm-hmm.
Why would you do that? Why are you on two different fronts of the same attack? Some of them you're like, no, we're taking that stuff down, and others it's like has a BS meter tag. That's a little shady. But then the other thing that I was
But this could cause people to die. Oh, give me hydroxychloroquine because it's going to cure me.
Right, but is that a prescribed medication?
Hydroxychloroquine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not an OTC?
No.
I don't see an issue. If a person illegally obtains a drug and takes it the wrong way without going to a doctor for it.
Yeah, but there's doctors that'll prescribe anything.
Oh,
just because you have those letters MD doesn't mean you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, and doctors are doing this right now anyway. They don't care.
They're just guessing.
Yeah, there's doctors that are probably prescribing that stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not. I mean, it still doesn't pull down the fact that if there's any valid nature to it.
Well,
the thing is, it comes into silencing of speech.
There's long-term effects of hydroxychloroquine if it's used that even goes into like cardiac arrest.
I'd imagine. Almost anything prescribed does. Pharmaceutical industry makes trash. And it's not, I mean, dude, when it's like cures your shakes, causes rampant diarrhea, that doesn't sound like a fair trade to me. I don't want to take those pills. But the other aspect is the first thing you started seeing coming out was you have the standard process of attack to remove or silence people.
Mm-hmm.
First, let's say it's wrong. Then let's try and make it disappear. And let's sort I'm looking for, kind of demoralize, but devalue the source. So let's start pulling all these things out that makes the person look bad. And some of that stuff can even be pulled out of context. But
yeah, well, she's saying that cysts are caused by women having dreams of having sex with demons or aliens or something like that.
That was the one I saw.
And then she does deliverance online.
Wait, say that again?
It's like an exercising of demons from people.
Tonight's Zoom assist.
Demons cause cysts.
Zoom.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Mixed word
Who
of
knows?
Zoom
It's crazy.
and exorcist. Yeah, this is nuts. I mean, so it's like great if you have the science and it's there.
But they've done the test. They've already gone through, and there's been a study already. And
yeah, so I see here
it's in a scholarly journal.
Yeah, so researchers at the University of Minnesota published the results of a post-exposure prophylaxis randomized controlled trial of hydroxychloroquine COVID-19 in the New England Journal of Medicine on June 13th. See, this is why I have the problem with these research studies. It's because still she lists three things, a cocktail, and everybody zeroes in on the one that's in the media and the one that the Trump said. So they're like, in a double-blind trial, recruited more than 800 volunteers who received either hydroxychloroquine or a placebo within 4 days of exposure to someone with confirmed COVID. Nearly 12% of those participants developed COVID-19, compared with 14.3% that got the placebo. So there's a 2% difference, but we're still only focused on the single effect of the single medicine. There's no double-blind study showing the effect of all three of these mentioned in the cocktail. So I don't think you can devalue her information or chuck it all out the window. Although the way it was brought to the public, it's a shame that. researchers and
you can't
scientists
go
have to
on
do
and
that.
say you're gonna get cured. You don't need to wear a mask. There's a cure
Yeah,
for
so that
it.
was the other. She said some of that stuff too, right? So what were the
Yeah.
claims beyond that? Oh, recommendations for face masks. Boy, if I scroll down through this article, man, I could find some stuff.
Yeah.
You don't need mask. That's a PhD fail from day one. There's not a word. It's kind of like you want to look at the credentials of the school of where she went to, because we don't even have doctors. There are doctors and nurses who are not even willing to say, when you say, yeah, I've got a cold, am I going to get better? And they're just like, well, we'll get you started on medicines and stuff, because I think what is it? Is it a patient's oath or something to that effect, that it's also a liability into the hospital that they can't say you're going to get cured from anything, because there's too many variables.
There's too many variables.
Yeah, they don't. So it's like he had a cold, and the nurse said that he was going to get better, and he died. And then they're like, yes, he died because a blood clot let loose in his leg and went to his heart. Had nothing to do with the cold. And they're like, but they said they'd be cured.
Yeah.
So,
but here's the thing about COVID-19. But no, maybe not. We need to move on to the next topic.
Come on. You want to say?
We'll come back to it, because I'm sure it's going to resurge again. So yeah, definitely.
So you want to jump over to so I'll step up to this statement. I specifically, now, military folks don't get angered at the statement, but the U.S. Army, essentially the specific e-gaming group of the Army branch, in my view and other people's view, was essentially grooming children. And what are they grooming them for? They're grooming them for an easier access of content to them, or an easier path to pull them in, to have them volunteer and sign up to the military.
Right.
And they're targeting them at an earlier age. And the only reason it looks so dirty is because what they were doing is they had a fake prize giveaway that sent users to an Army recruitment page. So you go over there, and essentially you're providing information through this recruitment page, assuming you're getting yourself into some type of giveaway for this nice little Xbox controller. So each giveaway had its own URL, marketing code that directly connected the registrant to the specific giveaway. And an eligible winner is selected at random and prizes given out. But there's lack of transparency in it, because the Army is essentially collecting user data.
Right.
And it's collecting data under false pretenses, because there's something totally different between a publicly funded arm of the government making a statement of, hey, check out our recruitment information, and hey, we'll give you an Xbox controller. You could be entered to win an Xbox controller if you come over here and fill out this form. So in that aspect, well, for me, it leads down conspiracy paths. But conspiracy paths, the Army has already proven, as well as other recruitment entities have already proven to be true, is they will use that stored data in the future to access that person again when there's been no contact for many years. And they'll use it as a path to access them at a more susceptible point in their age, high school graduation, recent completion of school, whatever.
Just like when, like right before my high school graduation, they sent me a razor in the mail. Gillette did.
Marketing going.
It's marketing. It's marketing.
Yeah,
they're just marketing for the United States Army.
Yeah. And I mean, I would agree to that marketing. Like, there's definitely a marketing arm of the military. We know it's there, and it gets a crap ton of tax dollars that it shouldn't be getting. But the thing with the military aspect of it is, if they're allowed to make that type of contact ahead of time and get that user into email marketing or some type of that aspect where they can just kind of continuously submit some type of information in them, I think that submitting that information, the Army's actually it's not doing really anything to gain the person. It's doing more of damage control, because we both have military friends, enlisted, retired, discharged, disabled, and with all due respect to military individuals, the entity itself has not done well to take care of my friends.
Yeah.
And we've seen this, friends and family. Currently enlisted. I mean, look at Fort Hood. Look at some of the things that are occurring. It's like they're trying to, by going these, what to me are shadier routes, they're trying to.
But they were doing this before
blow.
what recently happened at Fort Hood. Even though
Exactly.
a ton of stuff has happened at Fort Hood.
Exactly. And it just looks like they're trying to get ahead of the ball. They're wanting to pad it. So I think you can control the psyche a little bit of, hey, please ignore what's going on in the media at this point. We're not bad. We're not bad. And we agree. The military's not all bad.
But they did that when we were kids, or when we were younger, with the America's Army game.
Still out there.
And it's still out there now, which is, it's not a very good game, but
if you're going to spend that much of my tax dollars on something trying to convince somebody to join the military, please at least have a quality developer make it.
Yeah. Just make it good.
Yeah. Don't make it suck. It will be bad.
It's going to make me vomit when I play it.
What's that?
It's going to make me vomit when I play it. I know it is.
That's why we're playing Escape.
Because the frame refresh rate isn't going to be good enough.
It's horrible.
Fast enough.
Well, let's transition that. So, I mean, basically, Twitch catches them pulling this dirty stunt, and the military, their spokespeople, I mean, they played it as good as a politician, and it's like, oh yeah, no, we weren't doing nothing wrong. Oh, no. So bullshit.
Wasn't me.
So yeah, yeah, no, we did this the right way. We swear we did, and it's essentially, I can't fault them. When I play games and I compete in things, I read the rule book and I look at the rule book and it goes, oh, that means I can do this.
Yeah.
And if it's not documented there, we can. The thing is, they have to play by a different set of rules because they are considered a public entity. So, and getting caught like this makes them look bad. So that kind of feeds over to another thing they were doing, which was massive Twitch bans. The military being a public element, they can't stifle free speech.
Right.
Now, how the military controls those who are enlisted and active duty, it's totally different. That's orders. You're under a whole other world of justice on that aspect. But the citizenry themselves, they can't stifle free speech. But basically what people were doing was going into these streamers' chats and saying stuff like, hey, what's your favorite U.S. war crime? And then once they use the auto mods to block war crime, of course, you get into the leet speak. So now it's W4R. And so their statement for banning there was the fact that it essentially did fit the target of harassment, right? And that's harassment of that player.
Right.
I might need to close my door. Can you hear that background noise?
A little bit.
Yeah. If it's small enough, I'll leave it. It'll be off in just a second.
No, it's
good. So they ban a very large number of people, and that brings them some more backlash and people getting a little pissy about it. And you got to admit, man, people are kind of trolling the player at that point. And if you look at the raw elements of it, it is a person specifically targeting that streamer to, I'm going to slide over and close my door while I chat, they're harassing them. They are essentially harassing them.
Yeah.
And so the banning it fits in some of those cases, but the Army being what it is, as a public entity, they're removed from that ability. Their stuff trumps any terms of service. Any terms of service of any specific streaming platforms.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Right. So I mean, what do you think about that with banning of people who are trolling them in that aspect? Maybe twofold: banning in general, because they are a public entity on what's considered a public outlet, public speaking point. And then the second one, banning specifically in that type of troll commentary to the military, to that specific player.
I think I'm fine with that in that respect.
On the
I
specific.
don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Because I would do the same thing if I were doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I look at it because of what they are. Like, I mean, you granted, nobody in that chat's going to walk out because most of the Army's E team are I don't think any of them are active duty. I think most of them are retired or honorably discharged vets. And none of these guys in the trolling in there would step up to any of these vets in their faces and say the same thing. They're using the anonymity of the internet.
But are they actually going through and whatchamacallit? What am I trying to say?
On the banning?
Yeah, are they actually going through and banning for the fact that they're controlling speech?
They're banning for the comment.
They're banning for the comment.
Yeah, they're auto banning and banning for the comment. So they're banning specifically on the speech. So that puts them in a very precarious predicament, which translates more to what we've seen happen since then. The ACLU even came out on the U.S. Army's esports team talking about them banning users as unconstitutional. They've been banning them on Twitch and Discord for posting messages about war crimes. People on UU. So it transitioned, it goes even further, and then you wind up with AOC. I can't even say her full name, I just know her by those initials. But she actually proposed an amendment that bans the U.S. military from recruiting on Twitch. It failed a House vote, but it makes a really good point. We banned things like cigarette advertisers, right? Because cigarettes cause cancer, cigarettes kill.
Right.
So we ban them from being able to market using certain types of media. So I don't think it's too far-fetched for her to put this amendment forward and ban any type of government entity from using any type of streaming or public access platform tool as a recruiting tool.
Yeah.
If you want to have an esports team that's going to be streaming on Twitch, fine. That's what they do. They play video games. They talk about video games. They don't talk about the entity.
Yeah.
Play commercials. You're a sponsor. Spend the money on Twitch so that your commercials are the ones that play.
Yeah.
There you go. And if you have that approved, because they're military commercials, right? So play your military commercials. There you go. But I'm not sure. I might want to go and watch some of these guys play and really look at their streams for a little while and then try and see what else is there.
Is it just about the game and not necessarily pushing?
Yeah, because I mean, all respect to these guys, dude. Have you ever watched the original Rollerball or the second Rollerball movie?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So the second Rollerball movie, he's got that Coke up, right? And what do they tell him?
Oh, yeah.
Label out.
Label out.
So it's got to do it. So these guys are doing the same thing. It's label out. I saw a very similar conversation around those of young drivers in F1. And the guy, he was a long-time racer.
Less than a minute on this topic.
That's cool. Same thing, though. Yeah. It's around that. We'll see where it goes. But also, the U.S. Army has, last bit, they are going to halt all Twitch activities after the backlash. Same day that she files the measure to present. Let's see if there was anything here. America's Army was the video game.
Yeah.
So apparently they're hitting the brakes on their Twitch for a while, so we'll see where that goes. So mail-in ballots and voter fraud.
Yeah, so mail-in ballots, Trump says bad. So apparently, even today, he talked about mail-in ballots cause voter fraud.
Showed the man who demonetized. Just kidding. Go ahead. He was talking about the ballots.
Hey, he did it.
That's true.
The White House did it. That's from the White House. So yeah, he came out today and talked about how it's going to be a huge debacle, how it's going to take 3 months, and he wants to just push it back until it's safe. So now he's worried that it's not safe.
I think there's some telltale fears here, though, man. It is July, right? And we vote in November.
Right.
A major institution already has their crap together this far out and says, hey, this is what we're doing at this time. We're 5 months out, or 4 months, 3 months, whatever the hell it is, right? It's August, September, October, November, four-ish months out, and we don't know what the hell we're doing. We don't even have confirmation that we're opening polls as usual.
Yeah.
And then we're talking about mail-in. We don't have this luxury to make these decisions. It needs to be already set in stone. And one of those being, if you're voting in person, fine.
Yeah.
Let's set a damn appointment if we have to. We know who's registered. If you're going to vote, confirm that you're going to go vote. After people are like, oh, man, I don't want to do that. That would track me. Dude, everybody knows you voted. That's after you vote, everybody knows you voted. So if you're going to commit to voting, then commit to voting and saying, I'll be there 1:30. You know what I mean? And there's an X number of other people, but it's going to have to go more than one damn day.
He talks about, I don't have a problem with absentee voting. Why don't you just put that same process for mail-in voting?
So, well, the absentee gives you that earlier voting aspect, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I think that that's going to have to come into play. I would align to that. Let's see what the actual details on absentee are. Because mail-in, I saw somebody post that if we were to do even mail-in voting, it has to be completed by a certain number of days prior.
Yeah.
To the actual voting day, so it would need to be mailed, kind of like April 15th tax day kind of stuff. It would have to actually be mailed by mid-October.
I don't know, guys. All I know is that you got to vote.
Yeah.
You definitely vote out there and get your word out there. If you vote for Trump, but vote.
Please vote, and then please don't go straight to Facebook cheering or booing or crying or celebrating. But don't care. The people in that position have no credibility and no value, and the weight that's getting put on Trump and the celebrity status is put on him, put on Obama. And it's disgusting.
But here's the thing:
Stop celebrating.
The president doesn't change the game.
No, he just screws it up.
Yeah, the game just
veto.
Yeah, you can do that, but still, there's still checks and balances there. You can veto whatever, but if it's a good enough legislation, then it can still be pushed through.
True. The other thing is it comes down. I respect people vote more than anything. I don't approve Electoral College crap. Not where we are now. We've already seen it show different results based on popular vote. So I would still, this election, I don't give a damn what the results are. I'm not impressed with either of the options that are up there. They're both crap. But so I'm going to accept the results, whatever they are, regardless of which way I choose to vote. Right. But I would still like to see a change to popular vote. Because I think the Electoral College is actually one of the biggest things that keeps people in the mindset of my vote doesn't count.
Yeah.
And eliminating it would be a sure statement that it sure as hell does. We count.
Yeah. It would prove that everyone, because here in Texas, it's a red state. It's probably going to stay a red state for a very long time.
Yeah, and that's kind of the one thing that's been proven true is majority of cities are blue.
Yeah.
I think Bear just turned blue, right, a couple of years back,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that was more with Obama that it switched to showing more blue. But it has showed blue in a lot of other local and state stuff for the past couple of years as well.
Well, it's funny how Austin is so blue.
Oh no, it's not funny. I'd expect that out of Austin.
But it's right there at the Capitol, where everybody's red. Where everybody's red and inside the Capitol.
That's true. Well, that's the thing. Austin actually doesn't have a lot of voting power.
Yeah.
Same with Bear County. We don't have a lot of numbers that actually add up to a large value. Rural still outweighs cities, which to me is still kind of, I mean, it's basically accurate. You're looking at a large rural area with populations that are larger than that of the cities.
Mm-hmm.
Still voting. So where do you land? What are you going to do? When do you think we should? Where? This is actually a perfect example of a siloed structure. Sure, we have checks and balances, but none of these clowns are doing anything to get anything done either. Mm-hmm. And who in our voting department is already committed to this is what we have to do and making it happen? Who is that? Just the Department of Voting and Things.
Yeah.
It's a couple of years. That'll probably be the real damn title. Department of Voting and Things.
Stuff and things. Voting and stuff and things.
Virginia State Department of Elections.
There you go.
I'm finding the individual state ones. I'm not finding anything that's kind of full government. I know, because each state really kind of makes up its own stuff with how it does things based on certain federal setups, right?
Right. But it's done in like precincts within counties, so.
Do you trust them? I don't trust the damn ballot I toss in the box. I really don't. If it makes it there and it got counted, woohoo! I got the sticker and said I voted. Mm-hmm. But I don't have a problem with mail-in voting. Mm-mm. I do say let's not make it it's kind of like a bill collection notice. Under bill collection laws and fair credit, you can't put John Smith Debt Collection Agency on your envelope.
Yeah.
So let the mail ballots go out with the return envelope, and the return envelope is just an address.
But even with the amount of voter fraud that actually does happen with absentee voting, the percentage is so low that it doesn't even matter. Yeah, it's very hard to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think the Orange Gremlin's posturing so he has more things. And look, don't sit there and go, oh, you just hate Trump, so that's why you're calling him an Orange Gremlin. No, all politicians are complete and utter shit. He's just another one in the line of history. But I think he's just posturing himself to be able to. He's pre-arguing his eventual argument of those results are invalid.
Right.
He's pre-arguing that. He's trying to make us something.
Well, he is saying that. Those are the exact words.
If we all went
out of his mouth.
Exactly.
Today.
If we all went to the polls, like physically went to the polls, and somehow that show of just pure miracle, he wouldn't accept them. If we all voted on the White House lawn, he wouldn't accept them. He's not going to.
Unless he wins.
Oh yeah, he'll accept him in a heartbeat if he wins. And if he does, he does. But the thing is that to me, this is it's definitely a pure sign of maniacal totalitarianism, dictatorship type of stuff.
Yeah.
His just absolute greed for power and his massively delicate ego. He's got to try and get that other 8 years, or other 4 years. I mean,
Right.
Whew. And let's hope that was just a Freudian slip of years.
Oops.
But I don't. You can flip the coin either way. I don't think we land either way as a country in a better state, whether Biden ascends to the throne or he maintains it.
I don't think it matters. I think we're in a worse place with Trump, and I think we're better without Trump. I think we're better without Trump.
It'd be like splitting hairs to determine just how much better or not with or without him. It's such a finite thing, and that's just even horrible. That's even more horrible than 2016 and the elections prior. It's just like, what absolute hell. So are you going to go? Are you going to go to the polls if they're physically open?
Yep.
I will
wear my mask.
Yeah.
But then you're going to have to take it off when you give them your ID.
Yeah. I mean, it's easy to do. When I go into banks, when I go into buildings, when I go into anything, before I get to the door, I'll put my mask on. I mean, unless it's crowded, obviously I put it on sooner. But it's like a simple process. That's self-identification, right? That's you to whatever entity that you're going to visit that, hi, I am who I say I am, regardless of whether you know me or not.